Joe Biden, his new book is Promise Me, Dad, A Year of Hope, Hardship, and Promise. Okay, let me say this. The critics will say, you're too old. You're going to be 77 in 2020. You wouldn't have any new ideas. You've already run twice and lost. You'd have to promise it would be one term only, and that the blue-collar Rust Belters who you'd need to get elected already love Donald Trump.
They love me more. But they're right about all the first parts, correct.
How could you overcome all that?
Well, I'm not sure I can overcome the front end, but I understand the Rust Belt. Donald Trump has no notion what those people are going through. And if you take if you take a look, and that's not a criticism, it's an observation, because look, but for 77,000 votes, this would be a different race now. Come on, let's take a look at this. And you know, it's you know, they call me middle-class Joe. Well, it's not meant as a compliment in Washington. It means I'm not sophisticated, but I understand. I understand what built this country, and I just the only thing I know is the middle class, their hopes, their aspirations, because it's where I come from. It's what I am.
There was a poll out today that said 82% of Donald Trump voters would vote for him again.
Well, I think that's true, but you take a look at 82% of 30% of the vote. I mean, you know, it's a. Look, I'm not prognosticating about what will happen 4 years from now, but I do know that there is a need to respond to the genuine concerns of these people who have reason to be concerned. They're worried about digitalization. They're worried about artificial intelligence. They're worried about, will there be a job for me?
Well, what happened in the Obama administration that left them feeling disregarded?
Well, I tell you what happened. What happened was we had to deal for 6 years dragging this economy out of a ditch. We got it up on the ground, and if I had run, the thematic notion was, this is what we've done, now let me tell you what we're going to do now. We began to focus on being able to put together, wages started to increase, things began to move.
Let me ask you something on this, Mr. Vice President, because I know a lot of these voters, and some of the things you hear is they're sick of being told how to speak and what words are okay and what words aren't okay, and they're sick of God being pulled out of the public square and religion being demonized, and they also worry about pocketbook issues. But, you know, to those who are concerned about those issues, not to mention Second Amendment issues, who think, I'm no longer identifying with the Democrat ticket, what say you?
Well, I say, look, all those folks, just what would your mother say? Not a joke. What would your mother say about the way this administration talks, the language it uses, the way it denigrates other people? The middle class I know was not raised that way. And if you take a look how it's not like he won the middle class. This was a very, very close race, even with all those folks. I spent all my time in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Those are the states that did it.
Yeah, and it was very close in those states. But and I think part of the reason was we never got to speak to what was on their mind.
I mean, Hillary Clinton's been criticized for not having a clear message on that. I want to ask you, though, because
I think she had a clear message. She didn't get a chance to give the message because what happened was it was all about, look.
But she didn't go to those states. She didn't go to Wisconsin.
I think that was a mistake.
Yeah. On the question of language, there's no question Donald Trump's language has been dicey and controversial, but you got hit well enough for some controversial language, including barbarians at the gate when talking about Republicans. They want to put y'all back.
No, I'm talking about Republicans.
Well, you said when you're talking about labor unions and those who oppose them. You said that you also said that they want to put y'all back in chains, speaking about Romney and Republicans, and people said that's divisive. Any regrets about the language you used?
Well, I regret occasionally using profanity. That's what I regret. I know, I really do, and it's inappropriate. But the context of each of those things that I talked about were that there is a wholesale assault on the idea that people have. Look, there used to be a basic bargain in the country. When, in fact, you contributed to the well-being of the enterprise you were part of, you got to share in the benefits. That's been lost.
That's not the principle. It's the rhetoric that we're talking about now.
No, I would say those things, again, that's different than calling my opponent a little person. It's different than calling my opponent, talking about their physical characteristics. It's different than all the stuff your mother would wash your mouth out for. I think what you saw, anyway, well, we'll see. But look, I'm a big fan of a conservative columnist, David Brooks. And he wrote a really interesting piece about that invisible moral fabric that holds up all of our institutions. And it anticipates a citizen that is prepared to work on common issues and common values. And there are certain things that are just are the elements of what keeps our society civil. And I just think we're across the board. Look, if you attack somebody today, you usually go after their motive instead of their substance. I learned a long time ago. It's always appropriate to disagree.
But you don't cop to President Obama doing that occasionally too?
I have never attacked someone's motive. Go back and look.
I'm talking about President Obama. I mean, both sides do this to each other. It's not like the Democrats are without sin.
No, I'm not saying there are.
I mean, Hillary Clinton was out there calling him basket full of deplorables, which a lot of people think cost her the election.
Well, look, I'm speaking for myself and what I think has to change. And what has to change is the way we conduct our political rhetoric. And it really, our children are listening. The idea of not condemning unequivocally hate when it appears, when it rears its ugly head. The idea that, did you ever think you'd see people marching in Charlotte carrying Nazi flags saying the exact same anti-Semitic bile why is it hard just to say that was simply, absolutely abhorrent? That's what people wanted to hear.
Yep.
Anyway.
I got to go, but I want to leave it at this. Because there are obviously a lot of Joe Biden 2020 supporters. I'm going to leave it at this.
I don't know about that.
This is a quote from the book, Promise Me, Dad. We Irish, I like to tell people, are the only people in the world who are actually nostalgic about the future. I have never stopped being a dreamer. And with that tease, we will leave you to ponder what Joe Biden will decide to do.
Keep dreaming. We're in a great place.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. All of us. Former Vice President Biden's new book, Promise Me, Dad. It's available now.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.